All right. Good morning, everybody. Sorry, my brain's running a little slow today. Apologize. I guess it's cold. I don't know. That's my excuse for the moment, at least. All right. So, water around the world is what we're focusing on. So, our learning targets today we are going to talk about nouns and the function of nouns and give some example of nouns. We've been working on nouns and verbs and adjectives and adverbs for a while now, but we still struggle to know exactly what one of those is and to be able to identify it all the time. Mr. Ryder, facing this way for me. So we're going to be talking about those a little bit today, and we are also going to use the text, our book One Well, to answer the questions that are about those 2 pages that we read yesterday, or that I read to you. This time you'll get to read them yourself. All right, so we're going to start out with one of the most important sentences that came from those 2 pages. And so what we're going to do is there's a whole sentence, but we're going to break it into chunks and really analyze it and look at what each part means. All right, the sentence is, and because it is all connected, how we treat the water in the well will affect every species on the planet, including us, now and for years to come. Pretty important sentence for those 2 pages. So we're going to break it up a little bit. And the first section, the first chunk is, and because it is all connected. Well, usually 3rd grade teachers, like Mrs. Oven and I, do not encourage 3rd graders to start a sentence with the word and most of the time, because usually 3rd graders aren't great at having a complete sentence if they start with and. But because this is an author and an adult, they have what we call a dependent clause. This is a dependent clause. It doesn't stand by itself, does it? And because it is all connected. Does that make any sense by itself? No, but it will make sense. It's a complex sentence, so it's going to make sense with the rest of it. So this author has chose to start with the word and. Why do you think, what kind of word is and? What kind of word is it? Sunny? It's a linking word, isn't it? It connects. Why would an author use and at the beginning of a sentence? Obviously to link something, right? To link, to connect, just like like she said, a connecting word. It's a conjunction. It connects, it links. But why would we start a sentence with one of those? Lila, what do you think?
Because if you just said, because it's all connected, you would say, because, like if there was another sentence and that was kind of going into it.
Ah, perfect. That's exactly right. Everything before, all of the sentences before had something to do with now this sentence. This sentence is wrapping it all up and is connected to the sentences before it. So it has the word and. Again, it's a conjunction and it's a linking word. And because it is all connected, so what does it mean? What is it standing for? Haley? The water. Okay. Yep, the water, right? All the water is connected. That's what it is standing for. Do you think this sentence would make sense if it was at the beginning of all of the writing? No. Did we as readers have to, for Haley to know it was about the water, all the sentences before it had to explain that it was the water. If we started our paragraphs and our pages with this, we would know what it stood for. But because all those other sentences before had, then we know that it stands for the water. So what is the verb in this section? Verb. Remember, verb is an action word. So what is the verb? Ellie, what do you think? Connected. So it actually is the word is, but is connected. So that word, the all, is probably what's confusing us. If we took out the word all for a moment, because it is connected, then we can kind of look and see at the verb, but connect is a verb, right? And connected, connected in this case is actually being used as an adjective. Is that verb that tells, it's a state of being verb. It's not an action verb. But Ellie, that was a really good guess because normally connect would be a verb, wouldn't it? But in this case, it is an adjective. Do we have any nouns in this chunk? Person, place, thing, or idea. Remember, a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. Do we have any nouns in there? What do you think, Sernay? No, very good answer. You didn't let me fool you. Good job. There are no nouns. However, there is what we call a pronoun. And that is that word it that we were talking about. What did the word it stand for? And it stood for the water. Water is our noun, but in this case, we don't have that noun. It's a pronoun that we see right there. All right, very good. So, because it is all connected, how we treat the water in the well. Okay, so what's this chunk about? What's the focus of this particular chunk? What do you think? My friends at home, anybody at home? What is this? And how we treat the water in the well? Anybody at home? What is this chunk about? All right, Lila, give it to me.
It's about the water in the well and how we treat it.
Good. Okay, so Lila said it's about the water in the well and how we treat it. So she took those words and kind of flipped them, didn't you? Okay, it's about the water and what we're doing with it, right? How we can have an effect on it. Is it a question? Because I see the word how. Is this part a question? Give me a thumbs up if you think it's a question, or a thumbs down if you do not think it's a question. My friends at home, if you think it's a question, thumbs up. If you think it's not a question, thumbs down. It does have the word how. Well, I see a lot of confused looks. I do have some thumbs up. I do have some thumbs down. All right, Miss Haley, calendar. Why do you think you are correct? It is not a question, but how did you know it was not a question, Haley, even though it had the word how?
Because it's just telling you, not asking you, and there's no question mark, and it's just not a question.
Not a question. You're right. It is not asking us anything, is it? And it does not have that question mark. So it says how we treat the water in the well. It's not asking how we are treating it. It's telling us how we treat something. The way we do that is going to affect us, right? Are there any nouns in this chunk? Do you see any nouns in this chunk? I'll give you a hint, there definitely are. Any nouns in this chunk? Person, place, thing, or idea. Ms. Lyric, do you see one? Oh, you're still muted, my friend. Bottom left side. There you go. Look on that side. Oh, and the other way. Here, let's see if I can, maybe sometimes if I ask to unmute, then it just lets you click. There you go.
Okay. I thought I did see one, but now I don't see it.
Oh, there's two. Look again, Miss Lyric. See if you can figure it. Person, place, thing, or idea is a noun. It's right here. It's in the pink. All right. You want someone to help you out, Miss Lyric?
Mm-hmm.
All right. No worries. Evie, what do you see? Water. Water is a thing, isn't it? It's a thing. So it's one of our nouns. And then Mr. Noah, what do you see another one? And well, very good. Well, that place the water is coming from, right? In this case, is it just one place? Is this well just one single place? Not in this case, right? It's talking about that overall source of water. Very good. All right. So if we look at our next chunk, here we go, will affect every species on the planet. Okay, so what's being affected? What? Oh, according to the chunk, what is being affected? Every species. Very good. Every species. All right. Now, what do we mean about the word species? What does that mean, Lennox? Person, plant, or person, planet, and thing. So, or animal and plants, things. Okay. So if we have, so think of the earth, how we treat that. So how we treat the water in the well will affect every species on the planet. But what does species, so it means, so there are different species of plants, different species of animals, different, so what does that word actually mean, Marin? Well, those are all living things, but what does the word species actually mean, Abby?
Species is like a lot of the same animal.
Okay, so a different type, right? A different type of animal. Like we had different frogs, right? Were they all frogs? Yes, but were they different? There were different species of frogs, right? There was the glass frog and the water holding frog and the poison dart frog, all of those. Each of those was a different species. So think about, and even when we say animals, different species of animals, didn't just have to do with frogs, it also has to do with all those other different types of, so let's think of species of animals. Name it, raise your hand, just name one as fast as you possibly can. Well, Haley. Cat. Another one, Abby. Dog. Robert. Jensen. Jensen, name a species of animal. We had shark, dog, and cat so far.
Cheetah.
Cheetah, excellent. Surnay. Say again? Snake, I should have known, sorry. I totally should have known that one. Elena. Lizard, Charlie Van Rickley.
Fawn.
Very good, excellent. Ben, what's another type of species of animal? Ben, anything, any animal.
Amphibians.
Very good. Cole. Bird. Ellie. Llama. Very good. Max Fox. Crocodile. Isabella.
Mammals.
Oh, okay. So mammals are definitely part of that. Do you have a particular mammal that you like?
Wolves.
Wolves. Excellent. Let's see. Madison. Bunnies. Henrik. Frogs. Marin. Horses. And so a lot of those have even other small categories of them, right? Okay, so I got to move on. I'm sorry. I know are there tons? Here, turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor what you were going to say. Turn to your neighbor and tell you what to say. Everybody if you didn't get to share in your remote, just unmute and tell me your idea.
Elephant.
Good.
Owl.
Excellent. Owl. Love it. All right. Here we go. Hocus pocus. So this sounds like a discussion for later, but yes, actually technically are a type. All right, here we go. All right. So are there nouns in this sentence then? Are there nouns in this sentence? Yes. Who can name one of the nouns in this sentence? Person, place, thing, or idea? Oh, I'm hoping for Sunny. Planets. Very good. That's one of them. Planets. What else? Elena. Species. Very good. That's a hard one, isn't it? But you got it. So species and planet. Hey, is there a verb on this? Is there a verb going on here? Verb, action idea. Lennox. No, well, actually, every is going to be an adjective because which species? Every species. So that one is actually an adjective. Good guess, though. That was a good try. Max Fox? Affect. Actually, not just affect, but will affect. Remember, what kind of verb is that? Which tense is that? When we have a will in front of it. Robert? Future tense, will affect. Because this happens, we're talking about if humans don't take care of the well, what's going to happen in the future, right? It will affect every species on the planet. Is it just going to affect animals? It's going to affect plants too, right? Okay, other things as well. All right, will affect every species on the planet. And this one, did you notice I included two more words? Including us. Who is the us in this bird? Who are the us? Humans, right? People. We are, because we said every species, including us. Humans. So so that's not a noun. It's a what? Pronoun. When we put a word in for a noun, it's actually what we call a pronoun. So including us is a pronoun. It stands for the humans. So who will be affected by how we treat the water? Us and all the other species, right? All right. So let me move on to the next one. And here's the next chunk. Now and for years to come. So when will we be affected? Now and so the future, right? Now and for the years to come. So when we're focusing on this whole module, obviously we're worried about how things are now, but I'm also worried about how things will be in the future because who will then be the adults in the future that's going to be in charge of the earth? You as students, right? So you will be the adults that will help either fix or continue the problem, right? And so if I do my job well and we learn about what the problems are and how to fix them, then I will benefit and you will benefit if we can get everybody to work with this, right? All right. Do I see a noun in this particular chunk? Is there a noun in this chunk? I see a couple of my friends who seem very busy in their desks and in their laps and all eyeballs on the screen for me. Thank you. All right. Mr. Paxton, do you see a noun in there? This one's a little rough, but if you give me a guess, I'll take it. It is very good. Paxton said years. So why is that one a little tricky? Because it's an idea, right? It's not a thing you can touch. You can't touch years. But we talked about that a noun is also things that you can't necessarily, people, place, things, but also ideas, right? The idea of a year is about the amount of time. We can't touch it. Just like we know the word love is a noun. We can feel love, but we can't actually touch it, right? All right. So how does this chunk go with the other ones? How does this chunk connect to the other chunks? Lennox, what are you thinking?
Because they all have the same idea, and if the idea is if you don't take care of water, it will affect
Okay, so Lennox said that it goes with them because it explains when, if we don't if we don't treat the water well, how it's going to affect those species and when it's going to affect them. Very nice job, my friend. All right, so again, so I would like you to open up your workbook. We're going to page 4. Take a look at page 4. I'm going to pull up my dot camera here. All right. Page 4 in your EL workbook. All right. At the top of page 4, it's taking forever for my dot camera to open. I'm sorry, friends. All right, there we go. On the top of page 4, we're going to write down now all of the nouns that we find in this sentence. So the top sentence should look very familiar because here's our chunks that we had. I know it's coming. All right, there we go. All right, it shouldn't be blurry in your book though, Mr. Cole. Yeah, not in your book. All right, so we're gonna actually write on where it says nouns, all of the nouns we can find. So I want you to try first, and then we'll add them together. Right where it says nouns here, write down all of the nouns that we found in that sentence. So right here on our list, right here. Mr. Robert, we're writing down the nouns that we found in that sentence. Uh-oh, you can solve that problem. All right, so Leo, what's one noun I should start writing down next to right here?
Years.
Years, perfect. Years. That was Paxton's, good job. Mr. Paxton, did you write that one down first? Oh, good, since it was yours that you came up with. Okay, years, that's a good start. That's a good start. What other one could we have, Cole? Planet. All right. Mr. Gavin, what's another one we can list?
Well.
Well, very good. Awesome. Mr. Fox. Say it again. Affect is our verb. Species I'll take though, yeah. Species. That's okay. We all make mistakes. It's all good. All right. I think we might have another. Any of my friends at home see another one that I haven't said yet? All right. Charlie, let's go with you. What do you see, my friend?
A well.
Wow, very good. Oh, we did. It's another W word, though. There's another W word. Astria, do you have another W word?
Water.
Water. Whew. There we go. So I'm gonna. Oh, okay. Just try, let me go ahead and circle the ones I've got here. So we're all right. Well, I think we have them all. We definitely have some pronouns. Do we have? Oh, Arla, what else do you see?
I see is and be.
Okay, so is going to be, that's our verb. That's our verb. It's our stated being verb. And then we is going to be our pronoun. And who does we stand for? Well, us is another pronoun. Who else does we stand for? Humans. Very good. But humans actually isn't there. So we're going to leave that one as a pronoun. Look, we're going to focus on pronouns for another day. But we're going to just focus. So we have years, planet, well, species, water. So in that one complex sentence, wow, we had a lot of ideas in that one complex sentence, didn't we? And a lot of nouns. All right, very good. So that's all I wanted to get done on page 4. I would like you, however, to flip to page 5 and 6. Nope, 6 and 7, sorry. I just forgot I skipped 5. All right, so you're going to have some questions, and what I'm going to have you do is in my in-person friends, you're going to have, I'm hoping for some groups of 3. But nope, don't start looking yet. Don't start looking yet. Some groups of 3 to answer the questions on page 6 and page 7. So these are short answer questions. Now, we've been really focusing on selected response questions. That when they have a question and then they give you the answers and you have to figure out which one is the best. That's not what we're focusing on today. Today, we're focusing on reading the question carefully and making sure that you answer it fully. So how many lines did they give you in your workbook to answer all of these questions? 3. I see a lot of people showing me 3. So if they gave you 3 lines, do they expect you to answer in 2 words? No, because you wouldn't be, there'd be no way you can fill 3 lines with 2 words, right? So do you think they are expecting you to answer in a complete sentence? Yes. With a capital and an end mark, right? A complete sentence. Let's look at, hey, I have a couple of people who are not looking my direction. Thank you. So let's look at what kind of beginning to our sentences we might have. We're not going to answer them. I'm going to let you go back. You're going to have an opportunity to reread the pages from yesterday, and then you're going to answer the questions. And my friends at home, I'm going to put you in some breakout rooms so that you can talk over and answer the questions together as well. So let's look at the first question. So the directions say use the text. So what will you have in front of you to use? Your book, right? And the text. Mrs. Harrison is expecting you to use your text, not just your memory or your brain, right? We want you to actually find it in the text. You want to do what close readers do. Remember when close readers read, they read little chunks. They go through and make sure that they understand what they're reading. They look for the gist for each little section. When you get to a word you don't understand, there are a lot of words that I did go over yesterday, but I'm not going to go over again because I want you to use your close reading skills to remember and help you find out what those words mean. What are some different ways that we can find out what a word means? What are some of our strategies that we use? Ben, what's one of our strategies? Very good. So Finn said to look at the words around it, that we call that context, don't we? Look at the context, the words around it, the sentences around it, and see if they go with that word. Perfect. What's another strategy we use, Lila? Break it up. I love it. To use the root word and the affixes, right? Look at the prefixes. Look at the suffixes. Break it up. What's our last strategy that we do when we don't know what a word is? If we can't tell from the context and we can't tell from the breaking it up into word parts, what is our other strategy? Dictionary. Very good. That's our other strategy. Should we go to the dictionary first? No, not unless there is a question where they say, use a dictionary. So in that case, I would like you to go ahead and use that dictionary. But I want you to try using your other strategies first, okay? So you're using your close reader things to do, and you're answering the following questions. So there are a total of 6 questions, but many of these questions actually have 2 parts. So you have to, the second part goes with the first one. So let's look at number 1. We're not answering it together, but I want to kind of go over how do you use the question to write the answer, okay? So it says the first sentence says, imagine for a moment that all the water on earth came from just one well. What does one well mean here? Why do you think that? So that's a 2-part question, isn't it? You need to make sure you answer both parts. And you can use the question to start your answer. So let's look at the question again. What does one well mean here? So for the beginning of my sentence, I could say one well means, and then I'm going to finish what I think it means, right? What you and your triads or think it means. I used part of the question to start my sentence, my answer. Now, I'm going to say one well means, and then I'm going to say what it means, and then it says, why do you think that? So once you explain what you think it means, you probably say, because, and then why, what is it about the book that tells you that, what it means? Okay, use your text, right? Use all of your knowledge about the text. The second part says, how does the illustration support your answer to 1A? So let's think about how are we going to start our sentence? What words, Elena, are in that question that you could start your sentence with? If it says, how does the illustration support your answer? What do you think we're going to start that answer with? What word in that question could we start our answer with? You know how during math, right, we always look for what's going to be our label? What word is super important that question's asking about, Cooper? It says, how does the illustration support your answer? So what's the important word right there? Illustration. So Miss Elena, what if we write the illustration and then what supports? Because it says, how does it support? The illustration supports my answer because, and then just keep on, then tell why. What is an illustration? What is an illustration, Marin? It's a drawing, right? And they have, so on page 4 and 5, there's a picture, right? Look at the picture and decide what the illustration shows you. How does it explain your answer that's up here? All right. Are you starting to see how I'm going to use the question in my answer? Full sentences, not just 1 or 2 words, right? So I'm just going to skip over to really quickly part B because of number 5. When you get to this part, it says use a dictionary to check the meaning of the word faucet and write the definition below. So how could I use that question to start my sentence? What's the most important word in that question? Sunny? What are we looking up in the dictionary? The word, we're on 5B. No, 5B. I skipped to the other side. What word? Faucet. So I could say faucet means, and then finish my sentence, right? Because I'm checking the meaning. So what does it mean? Faucet means, and where am I going to look to find that definition? The dictionary. Do we already have an idea of what faucet means? Yes, we talked about it yesterday, right? But I did not put those words on I did not give my friends in person any hints about these words because I kept them. I'll put them up after we're done with today's work though. Yes, Noah. So you are going to have a good amount of time to work on it, and then we're going to briefly go over the answers, hopefully before the end of the time today. Yes. So this is what I'm going to ask you to do. My friends who are remote, I'm going to put you in some breakout groups, some groups of 3 or so. I would love it if you guys would unmute and talk about it, but everybody needs a little bit of time to reread pages 4 and 5. All right. So I'm going to let you do that in your groups. All right. To reread, maybe you can you can read it together. You could read it silently. You could read it together. You could maybe take turns helping each other read. I want you to decide what for your group, what is the best method for that. Then after you reread pages 4 and 5 in your One Well book, I would like you to complete the questions on page 6 and page 7. And remember, we're using complete sentences, so you're gonna have a capital and an end mark for every sentence, right? And answer it as fully as possible. Your answer does not have to be identical to your partner's, but you can write it in your own words. But I would like you to come up with talk it over, make sure that you have each, that everybody has an idea of what they're going to answer for that question. All right. Any questions about what I'm asking you to do? I'm hoping to be able to pull you together and talk about the answers briefly before we wrap it up today. Yes, Miss Haley.
What do we have to do on 4 and 5?
So you don't need to worry about 4 and 5 anymore. You're just worrying about
just 6 and 7?
Just 6 and 7. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted the top of page 4. I know, I'm sorry, that was a little confusing, but we're skipping the rest of 4 and 5. All right. Anybody have any other questions? Mr. Ben, are you good? Can everybody at home give me a thumbs up that you know what your job is? Ben, you feeling good? Thumbs up?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Okay, good. Awesome. Okay, next, Jensen, looks like you got Leo, Lyric. All right. Okay, so I will do those groups. I would love for you guys to go ahead and find a group of 3. And you got to read your book first. So make sure your One Well book is with you. All right. You want to go next door and do that? Sure. All right. So Mrs. Aubin will be joining you in your breakout group. Yes. Of course. Yes. Oh, no, you're kidding. All right. So my friends, I'm creating your groups and I'm sending you there. All right. Go for it, my friends. Go ahead and join your group and answer your question. All right. Good job. Raise your hand if you do not have any partners yet. People whose hands are up, find each other. You guys have 3? All right. Raise your hand if you do not have a group yet. Raise your hand if you do not have a group yet. Gather together so you can be groups.